for $3. This is the truth.
They didn't have heaters?
Some come without heaters. Now, if you bought the deluxe, they had a 1940 deluxe, had a little more chrome on, had a radio in the heater. I think it cost $50 more. So he bought another one because he needed it for the number business. We went clear up the year, big business. He used to make in those days, he used to make $100 to $110 a day. Do you realize how much money that was in 1940? I'm telling you, that's what he used to make. We used to have $1,000, $1,100 worth of business a day. He made 10%.
How do you get in that business? I mean, how do you get big?
Well,
you get help from the old boys.
Dominic Anzalone, he was the biggest shot that he come from Villanova, where your grandpap come from, in Sicily. Him and another guy, his brother, Uncle Andy had all the number. He had all the number business in Westmoreland County. My uncle. He used to make $150 a day in 1940. You know what that is today? Huh? You could buy a brand new car for $700. You figure it out. You could buy a house for about $3,000. You figured out how much money that was. So I was so happy. We were moving out of that house. We bought that house at 727 Fallowfield. My dad paid $3,000 for it cash.
Huh. Wow.
So that's how I always remembers that when he was a boy. We lived at 727. But there's many stories I could tell you, and every one would be true. I could write a book how hard we had. We'd go to school with nothing to eat, just get a little carton of milk from the seal test truck. I'm telling you. And we used to dump garbage in back of Warner from Charleroi.
I didn't, but I will. Yeah, sure.
We used to go pick up the oranges because they had skins on, grapefruits, stuff like that. I'll never forget the one guy. And over a few feet away, the guys they're shooting rats with a .22. It's the truth. One day the guy came in and he said, "Here's a nice looking cake down there. Hey, look, it's brand new." He showed it to me. "Look, it's brand new." I said, "I don't think I want that cake." I said, "Maybe it's going to get, ain't nothing wrong with it." He says, "Here." He took a taste of it. He said, "It's all right." I said, "I'd rather get something with skins on. Skin on, like an orange or sometimes I get an apple, peel it, We used to do that. We was glad to get it, Alex, believe me. You can't imagine. We were hungry. We had nothing to eat. Nobody knows how hard us depression people had it. We never had that.
So when was that? That was in the early 30s then,
this occurred from the 1931 on up to about 37 or 38. And, well, I'll never forget when we lived on a farm. Listen to this. There was all kind of commotion one night. And my mother says to me next morning, she says, "Go see what they did down there." I went down there. What do you think was in those two big barns? Big aluminum vats that they made moonshine out of. That's the truth. They were all big aluminum things.
Who was doing that? Your dad?
No, what they did, somebody had to get rid of them in a hurry. Because they thought they was going to raid the place. They put them on our farm.
Who knew about it? Your dad?
Yeah, my dad was, he talked. And the day goes wrong in the moonshine business. My one uncle got killed. They were chasing him. He hit a steel pole down in Belle Vernon.
What uncle was that?
Uncle Johnny, my dad's brother.
Your dad's brother.
He was only 30 years old. Trying to get away from the revenue agents.
How many people were in your dad's family?
Well, you mean I had my Uncle Andy, and I had my other Uncle Johnny.
2 brothers.
Right.
Any sisters?
Well, the sisters were in Italy. They come to this country, Cosimo. One was named Cosimo, and I can't remember the other one. They lived to be over 100.
Lizzie.
Well, no, that was my mother's sister.
Oh, that's right.
They lived to be over 100. He had a brother, Joe, lived in Italy.
Cosimo was their last name?
No, Cosimo was her first name.
Oh, that's a woman, Cosimo?
Italian name. You know how how your great-grandpa come to this country? World War I was on, right? My grandmother put a tag on him. Pito, Nebraska, California, Pennsylvania. Put him on a boat. He's 14 years old. He's on that boat. He comes to Ellis Island. He better pass the physical. That boat was waiting for him to take him back over. Well, he must have passed the physical.
That was your dad.
My dad.
Yeah.
Couldn't speak English. But you know what? 10 years later, my father could speak English as good as I could. That's the truth, Ouch. Pap could really learn that English. He was a shoemaker by trade.
How much older than? How old was he when you were born?
Well, he was born, I was 25. He was born 1900.
1900.
My Uncle Andy lived to 89. My dad did take care of himself. He got sugar and he thought he could get away with it, drinking all that there diet pop and stuff like that. He says there's no sugar in there, but the saccharin was killing him.
It wasn't diet pop in there.
Well, was it?
We didn't have diet pop then.
Yeah, RC Cola come out with it. They all had it, but it was diet. It was called sugar free. Sugar free. They used saccharin in it or something, and that sugar was still bad. His eyes were bad, and everything.
Yeah.
What his trouble was, he'd get it. Son of a bitch. Try to force it in there.
What's going on here?
Fucking interception. He threw it so fucking.
Ouch. I could write about my
I'm on
life.
camera here.
Oh.
I have to tell you about Mrs. Duvall.
All right.
The one who always gave me the paddles.
Mm-hmm.
Back in those days, there was stores in the area called Clover Farm stores.
Mm-hmm.
We were living in First Street then, in Lowell House. We'd always go to the Clover Farm store to buy something. So I was home on furlough. I come in that Clover Farm store, and who's in there? Mrs. Duvall. This is 10 years later.
Okay. You were in the army. You were home.
I come home on furlough.
Uh-huh.
I says to her, "Hi, Mrs. Duvall, how you doing?" "Do I know you?" I said, "You should know me. You give me enough paddles." She, "What do you mean?" I said, "Listen, you. I was only 6 years old and you used to bend me over the desk and hit me in the ass with a paddle, and everybody laughed."
You told her that.
She said, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa." I says, "I ain't gonna waste my time on you. You just didn't like me." I told her.
You know, I'm starting to see a pattern forming here, Dad.
How's that?
Mrs. Duvall, Booger Lee.
Oh, I didn't tell you about Booger Lee, did I? You know about Booger Lee?
I know
Now,
all
do you know
about
what he
Booger
did?
Lee.
He beat you up.
No. He made me put on the gloves with Jack Steck one time, you know? Jack Steck was 2 years older than me. So I didn't know what to do. I'm banging around. I beat the shit out of him. That killed him. You know what he did? They used to make us box down at the gym when we was in junior high. I was in 8th grade or 9th. 9th grade, maybe 10th. We used to box down there, you know. What's he do? He makes me box with Kanji Carmella. Kanji's brother was a boxer. He knew how to box. See this nose? He hit me in the nose, my nose bled. My eye, he beat the hell out of me, actually. You know? I never forgot that. I never forgot it because that goddamn Booger Lee, he's the one that did it. Poor Kanji got killed in World War II, anyhow, he died. He was a nice kid. He told me, I don't know why. I said, "What the hell did you beat the hell out of me for?" He said, So I said, "You know, I was no match for you. You was an experienced boxer, you know?"
Mm-hmm.